Hello and welcome back to the On Wrestling and another edition of NXT Out of 10. And last week's show was very eventful with the debut of Mariah May, Trick Williams retaining the TNA title in controversial fashion, JC Jane's celebration for winning the NXT Women's title, and yeah, a lot of the fallout we got from that coming from this show, as well as what we saw from Worlds Collide. So without further ado, let's get straight into things. And we've opened things up with a quick video package before we saw Jasper Troy attack Obafemi in the parking lot to soften them up before their title bout. When we were back in the arena, Ethan Page was out to defend his North American title for the second time in 4 days. His challenger was Sean Legacy. All Ego quickly grabbed them in a headlock to take control, but the challenger didn't stay down long. They spent the first few minutes trading holds and takedowns before Legacy began to unload strikes from the champ. We returned for a break to hear the crowd chanting as a 29-year-old nailed a springboard dropkick. The challenger began to build a lot of momentum, missed a 450 splash, and ended up getting hit with a Page's finisher. All Ego retained an energetic, solid opening bout. Ricky Saints rushed the ring and went after Page. They caused a brawl which was broken up. So yeah, that feud's still going on, and a pretty entertaining match to kick off the show. 6 out of 10. Moving on then to Nico Vance and Sean Spears versus Josh Briggs and Jikishi Shimura. After Izzy Dane knew before that explained why she attacked Brooke Jensen, the culling made its way to the ring so Vance and Spears could take on Briggs and Imora. Spears unloaded on Imora with chops and made his chest red, but all it did was fire the Japanese star up. Once it was Vance and Briggs in the ring, the former began to take control and take the latter apart with a variety of offensive maneuvers. The babyface eventually regained control, but Vance hit his finisher on Briggs to score a quick win. The match was smoother than expected. It had some good moments and made all four guys look good, but yeah, it just wasn't overly dramatic. 5 out of 10. As we then moved on to Lash Legan versus Ren Sinclair after an argument backstage. Kalani was on commentary and Sinclair got her opponent on the mat and put her in a rotating cattle mutilation submission, but Legend powered out of it onto her feet and hit a big boot. Legend had a significant power advantage, but Sinclair used her technical ability. Lash was able to score the win, but the way she had her finished didn't great. She almost dropped Sinclair and made it not look great. And to be honest, the match wasn't great. Probably the right result, but yeah, not high quality. 5 out of 10. As we then moved on to JC Jane versus Laney Raid for the women's title. Obviously a big opportunity for Laney. As usual, Henley and Nix were with the champ. Reed took control and took Jane from corner to corner before hitting crossbody from the middle rope for a quick 2. A super kick from Jane put her in the driver's seat as we went to a break. We then returned to the champ still controlling the pace against a relative newcomer to NXT. This was a solid back and forth encounter that immediately put Reed on the map. This made the physical and competitive, but you can still see a lack of chemistry in some places. Jane retained her title with discus clothesline. During the post-match celebration, Ava appeared and told Jane she would have to face the winner of the Fatal 4-Way on June 24. Whoever wins the title gets a shot at Evolution on July 13th. So yeah, that's a nice little angle to close it off. To be honest, I didn't think the match was that great. Kind of felt like it came out of nowhere, to be honest, for an NXT Women's title match. But yeah, intrigued by that announcement. I'll give it 5 out of 10. Next up, it was Tony D and Luca Crucifino taking on the High Rise. The family in action, of course, against DuPont and Agui. And Tony D made Luca start for their team, but he was quickly thrown across the ring by Agui. Crucifino tried to tag, but the Don told him to keep fighting. Once Tony D did tag in, he had trouble getting in any offense, so he tagged back out. Crucifino cleared the house and then tagged Tony D for a quick double team, which made it look like he annoyed the Don more than anything else. We returned for a break to see DuPont and Agui in control. Stack showed up and tried to interfere, but Tony D sent him out of the ring. It looked for a moment like Luca was going to attack the Don, but he was taking advantage of a misunderstanding. High Rise took advantage of the situation, took out Tony D to get the win. The match had a couple of good spots, but had just as many moments that should have been better. So yeah, a mixed bag on the whole. Didn't really stand out on a show that, to be honest, didn't really stand out. So yeah, 5 out of 10. It was then main event time, Jasper Troy challenging Obafemi for the NXT title. The champ came into this bout a little worse for wear, and Troy attacked him in the parking lot before the show, so the winner of LSG was able to take control right away. Femi rarely finds himself being the smaller man in the ring, but he still managed to get a quick comeback and unleash some strikes. Troy ended up whipping Femi into the corner so hard that the middle rope broke off the ring post. The challenger continued to focus on the injured midsection to the champ throughout the break and went into the final segment of the show. For someone so new, Troy made a great impression in this match. He looked as dominant and powerful as WWE wanted him to, but Femi looked just as good as an injured champ fighting for his pride in the title. It took 2 fall from Grace Spinebusters for Femi to get the pin and the win. So yeah, I think, a good showcase of Femi here, in all fairness. And yeah, I think a good showcase of Troy and another win for Femi. So yeah, I thought it all worked pretty well. Probably not going to be the most memorable title reign of Femi's reign, but yeah, it was still decent enough, and I'll get 6 out of 10. Overall, NXT this week gets a 5 out of 10 from me. Yeah, to be honest, it looked like it'd be a good show with the amount of title matches, etc. But a couple of matches felt rushed and predictable. Interference commonplace. I really enjoyed the North American title match to kick things off. Mariah May changing her name to Blake Monroe. We'll get some kind of getting used to. But I thought that was kind of the main point to come out of an otherwise pretty quiet show.
Guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.